If you're wondering what's going on in USA Powerlifting at the international, national, regional, even local level, then this video is for you. So let's get right into it. Alrighty, what's going on, everyone? Coach Aaron here, back in another video. In this video today, we're going to break down everything that's going on in USA Powerlifting for this year and going forward. So in some previous videos, if you've been following along, you know I did like an overview of what's going on as far as powerlifting news. And then in the last video, I went over everything that's going on the Powerlifting America side. So now we're going to do this video going over everything that's going on the USA Powerlifting side. So again, similar to the last video, if you don't care about USA Powerlifting, if you don't live here in the US or you compete in a different federation, you're not interested as far as anything concerning USA Powerlifting, then you don't need to watch this video because that's all we're going to be diving into here. So you can go watch some other videos. Again, I'll put some cards up above and I'll put some links down below so you can go to different playlists if you want to go learn about squats or programming or different things like that. So let's get right into it. I already have my computer pulled up over here, and the first thing you want to do obviously is go to usapowerlifting.com. So that's where it's going to be the main page for the national organization, and you can find most of the stuff here. So you're going to have like a news section here and the calendar down here. The first thing we'll jump into, while there isn't a specific date or anything like that, so we'll start with the international side with this little news post here about international competitions, and the first one being announced for Australia. So if you go and read this, if you haven't already, you can take a look at everything. That the first competition will be this USA Powerlifting Australia Open. And so you can go read information about that, but they haven't said anything as far as a date or exact location or anything like that. But you can get some information here as far as they're going to have, you know, international competitions coming later in the year. They're working with Western European members as far as hosting competitions later in 2022 as well. So outside of Australia, they may be looking into other places like, you know, the UK or Spain or something like that, as far as whatever Western European countries they're talking to. And then as far as Australia, you can see here that it's going to be open for residents in the US, and obviously Australia is going to have all the age divisions, raw and equipped, full power and bench only. So it's available to anyone and everyone that are competing in USA Powerlifting or anyone that wants to join and wants to compete in one of these divisions. And also you'll see that it gives basically everyone the ability to earn a pro card and gain eligibility into the pro series. So this will give you a chance, if you are a USA Powerlifting member already here in the US, or if you're someone in Australia, to go and enter this competition, gain a pro card, and get into that pro series that they're starting off this year for the first time. And then there's just some other information here as far as international competitions, and then down here also saying that they're working with their North American partners to potentially bring a North American championship event in 2023. So then potentially you can have it where you have your regular USA Powerlifting events here in the US, then you have maybe something like a one-off championship like an Australia Open in Australia where you can win your pro card, get into the pro series. Then you could have maybe a similar option in a country in Europe, again with that having the option to get into the pro series, and then having something like a regional, like a North American championship next year, 2023, where they could bring in various countries in North America and compete for a North American championship and maybe not part of the pro series. So that's all the stuff that's going on at the international level. Then if we go for the national level, what we can do is go back here to the home page. They do have the calendar down here, but I like just going up here to the tab up top, going to the calendar there, just because it's easier to make the changes in how you want to filter everything and not have to update the whole website every time. So when you come here, then from the drop down, you can go and select your national level here and do search, and then you'll get all the national meets, which I've discussed a little bit in the couple of videos ago with, you know, the Arnold coming up this weekend, and then you have the military, police, and firefighter nationals also in March, and then the teen and high school nationals are going to be combined, and then right after it in the same location, same venue, everything like that, will be the collegiate and junior nationals combined. All those will be in March, so it'll be a busy March there as far as nationals, and then finishing off with the mega nationals here in June, which will be the rest of the stuff like the youth nationals, the bench nationals, the open. So for the rest of the people who are competing that don't fall into one of these categories, then the mega nationals will be there for you. And that one will be again in Las Vegas, versus the teen high school, collegiate junior will be in Lombard, Illinois, and military nationals in Atlanta, Georgia. In addition to fighting for these national championships in here, some of this will also be part of the pro series. So when we go into the pro series stuff, some of this will blend in where you're not just going over for a national title, you're also potentially going for pro series points, or to win a pro card, or to move into the pro series. So we can hop over into that pro series right now, and it's going to be easier to go to a separate website. So what you want to go to is pro.usapowerlifting.com. So I don't know exactly where on the homepage you're going to add it. I don't see it yet. Potentially they'll put it here under the athletes page. But if you just go to pro.usapowerlifting.com, then this will be a whole website dedicated to just the Pro Series. You can see here information as far as the live stream, the Pro cards broken down by different categories, the leaderboard for the Pro Series broken down by different categories, Masters leaderboard here as well, and then FAQ. So here's where you want to go as far as being concerned about the Pro cards. So here you can go and see if you got a Pro card from Nationals last year, or see where you're ranking if you already competed in like the Virginia Pro Series. But what we'll do is we'll jump over here to the FAQ, as this has a lot of the information here. I don't have all the information, and there may be some specific scenarios where maybe they didn't account for it. So if you have some kind of weird extreme situation, then you'll want to contact them, and you can always go all the way down here at the bottom and submit a question, or you can just email the national office. But for most of the cases, you want to go here and you have your FAQ here broken up into different sections, as well as a video here if you want to watch, them describe some of these series details and questions and stuff like that. I'll start here down at the bottom, because since this is some of the stuff that people are concerned about first, is like how many Pro cards are there, what are they called, and how are you eligible for them. So there's 4 Pro cards, and it's broken up into 2 that are for full power and 2 that are for bench only. And then the 2 that are for full power are going to be just a regular Pro card and then the Masters Pro card. So the Pro card, you can just call it like an open Pro card, or just like the standard Pro card, is open to everyone. So it's just going to be open age division. There's no divisions inside of that as far as like, teens, juniors, masters, anything like that. It's open to everyone. And then there'll be the Masters Pro card, which is just for the Masters lifters. And then same thing here for the bench. There's the Pro bench card, which is just open to everyone, and anyone can get into it if they're strong enough to be eligible for it. And then the Masters Pro bench card. So you can go and click on each of them, and you can see here that the Pro card, just the standard 3-lift Pro card, will get you eligible for any Pro meet excluding the Pro Series finals, because there's a separate qualification for that finals, which we'll go over. And then if you happen to be a Masters lifter who also holds a Pro card, then you automatically qualify for the Masters Pro card and automatically qualify for the Masters Series finals. So if you are a Masters lifter who is good enough to get the Pro card that's open to everyone, then you get the Masters Pro card and the Pro card, so you get 2, and then you're automatically qualified for the Masters Series finals, but you still have to go through a process to qualify for the Pro Series finals. And then if you click on here on the Masters, then you can see the Masters Pro card that you have to go through the Pro Series in order to earn your Masters Pro card. And it's the same thing for bench, so we don't have to necessarily go through that. As far as the teens and juniors, I'll hop over here to the teens and juniors, because you might be asking, well, there's an open Pro card, there's a Master Pro cards, what about the teens and juniors? Again, they don't have their separate Pro card. You have to just go win the regular Pro card. So how to do it is you have to qualify through the teen nationals, high school nationals, junior nationals, or collegiate nationals, which you can see here. So these are all the end of March competition in Lombard, Illinois. And basically all the sessions are already sold out. It's capped. So if you are signed up for it, then you're entered into the qualifying meet to try and win that Pro card. If you're not signed up for it, then most likely it's going to be too late. Your weight class will be full and you have to wait till next year. And so to get to the finals, what they're going to do is basically look at the results from these events. They're going to combine all the collegiate and junior lifters together, rank them by dots, and then the top 10 get into the finals. And then they're going to combine the high schools and teens all together, rank them by dots, and the top 4 will get invited into the finals. And that's going to be broken down into the different divisions. So here you can see male raw, male equipped, female equipped. So if you happen to be a top 10 collegiate or junior lifter at the collegiate and junior nationals, then you'll get invited to the mega nationals in June, where you can go and win your Pro card there. So you can see how the finals here will be at mega nationals. So these 14 people will be battling it out, and then the highest person out of these 14 people at mega nationals in June by dots will win the Pro card. So there'll just be one Pro card given out to the top collegiate, junior, high school teen lifter that competes at that mega national. So it's a process where you have to first go, let's say you're a collegiate lifter. First, you have to go to the collegiate nationals, get top 10 between the collegiate and junior lifters in your category, then go to the mega nationals and get first place out of the collegiate, junior, high school, and teen lifters in your category, and then you get your Pro card. So it's a little bit of a tough road because you have to be one of the best at the high school and teen nationals, or the best at the collegiate and junior nationals, and then turn around in June, go to the mega nationals and be the best person there to get the one pro card that they're giving out. For example, if you're a male raw collegiate lifter or junior lifter, something like that. So that goes over how to get in if you are a teen or junior lifter. So now, as far as the series, we'll hop right up here as far as the point scale, because you may have already gone and looked at the leaderboard and wondering what the points are for. And here is how the points are broken down from 1st to 20th place. So first place gets 50 points, and then there's 5-point drops off here. And then once you get down here, then it starts being 3-point drop offs. And then once you get towards the very end, it's only 1-point drop off for each place. So this gives you more value to being a higher place person up here. Like if you're first, second, 3rd, 4th, 5th place, you're going to get a lot more points versus here. If you're like, 18th versus 19th versus 20th place, you're not losing that much ground. So it adds more value here to these top places by having those 5-point increments. And so then that's how you see how people's points, they may have 50 points, is because they already got first place, let's say in the Virginia Pro series event that happened in December. And then as far as what events you can get points from and how they combine, you can go over here to Pro Series scoring. And so you can see they take a look at 2 different events. So you have to do one pro meet, and then you have to do nationals. So from the pro meets, you can select whichever ones you want. I'll show you in a second what events there are. And then you have to go do the nationals and get that second part of the equation to get your total series points for the first year. And then they rank everyone by their total series points. And then the top points get to go to the finals. So here, when we look at the events, you'll see that it started here in December with the Virginia Pro, as I mentioned. Then we have the Arnold Sports Festival that's coming up. Then you have the Nationals, which is, the one side of the equation. And then you have these other Pro Series events, the UBU Expos in Dallas, in Orlando, and Phoenix. And then the Virginia Pro again, before here, the Arnold next year is going to be the finals. So you have these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Pro Series events where you can pick and choose if you want to go to one or go to multiple to try and get one part of your equation. And then you have this Nationals in June to get the other part of the equation. You put those 2 points together and then go look at the leaderboard and see where you are ranked to see if you can make it into that Pro Series finals at the Arnold next year. And just as a note here, they say that additional pro events may be added because they're looking into whether they can add anything else to the calendar. So maybe, between this Phoenix and Virginia Pro, maybe they find a way to add another one in there to give another option to lifters. All right, if you're wondering how many pro cards there are, like how many are they giving out in each of those categories? So here are the 4 categories again. And so if we just click on one, let's say the raw 3 lift, you can see in total, they're giving out 40 for the females and 40 for the males. And then the way that it's broken down to get those 40 is that one, you have to have a minimum dots here, 475 for females, 500 for males. But if you get top 3 in your weight class at nationals, that's going to get you a pro card. So that's 33 out of the 40 right there are given out at nationals for those top 3 lifters. Then basically look at the alternate list of 4th place and below. They look at the top 5 dots and give out 5 more pro cards based on those dots across all the weight classes. So that gets you 38 out of the 40 are gone right there from nationals. So then the last 2 come from, as we had mentioned, one of the things was from that junior series finals, where if you go and do the high school, teen, collegiate, junior nationals, and then you go into the series finals here at mega nationals, and that one person who has the best dots gets that one pro card, that's where it is. And then the second one is going to be from the Arnold Sports Festival. They have the A7 Raw Challenge, and at that Raw Challenge, the top person who has the highest dots gets a pro card as well. So from these 2 different events, from the Arnold and then from that junior series finals, which starts with that teen junior nationals, will be the 1-in-1 pro cards, kind of like a wild card. And then the rest of them come from getting top 3 at nationals or trying to be a top 5 dots, like on the alternate list from nationals. And it's the same thing here, as you can see, basically from the men's side. The only difference here is that because there's more men's weight classes than when you do the top 3, that gets you 36 pro cards. So then you only get 2 from basically the alternate list at nationals, and then you still have the Arnold and you still have the junior series finals. And then if we look at the bench here, it's going to be very similar. There's going to be less pro cards. So you have 27 and 27 for men and women. And instead now you have top 2 from each weight class at nationals instead of the top 3. And then again, on the women's side, you have the top 4 dots as like a wild card, and on the men's side, the top 2. And then the wild card spot now is going to be again from the Arnold, but it's going to be from the Pro-Am bench event from the amateur side. So the Pro-Am stands for professional and amateur. So the event is a combination of pro athletes competing and amateur athletes competing. So the pro side of the event gets prize money, and the amateur side of the event, the one person gets the pro card. So that's where that wild card pro card gets in there to get you that total 27. So here you get 22 from the top 2 at nationals, 4 from the alternates, and 1 from the wild card. And on the men's side, 24, 2, and 1. So that kind of gets you the breakdown of how you can win a pro card and how many pro cards there are for whichever specific one you're going after. And it's the same thing on the equipped side and the equipped bench only side. And then finally, if we're looking at the Masters pro cards, so remember the Masters have their own separate pro card, and you want to see how you earn it, you can go over here, and it's a similar thing. Again, there's less pro cards. So there's going to be 13 here for the females, 13 for the males, plus anyone who has a regular pro card, because like we said, if you're a Masters that has a regular pro card, you automatically get the Masters pro card as well. And then here you can basically see how you have to be top 4 in the series based on your Masters age division, top 3 for the Masters 3, and top 2 for the Masters 4. And then like we said, anyone who has a pro card. And same thing on the men's side, 4, 4, 3, and 2. And then when we look at the Masters Raw bench only, you can see then it drops down to only 10 pro cards for the females and for the males, plus anyone who has a regular pro bench card. And then here you can see it's going to be top 3 in the series for M1s and M2s, top 2 in the series for M3s and M4s, and then anyone who has a pro card, and same thing on the men's side. So I know that was a lot to take in, but again, hopefully that kind of broke it down for you, and you can go through and you can click on these and read them again and just focus on what you are specifically going for. I try to go over both the 3-lift side and the bench only side and go over the open and the masters and the juniors, but you can just go look at whichever one you're specifically looking for. If you're only focused on, let's say, equipped bench only, then just go read the stuff on the equipped bench only and see how you can get the pro card, how you can stay qualified, how you can get points, all that stuff. And then you can watch this video explaining as well if you want to be able to see someone else explain it, and maybe that will help kind of grasp the concept. And then you can go look at the leaderboard and see who is on there, see if you're on there, how many points you need and stuff like that to get into the finals. So now if we go back to the calendar, one of the things people have been asking is if they're going to be bringing the regionals back. And so far I have not heard anything about them bringing the regionals back. They're probably very focused right now. First you had the pandemic, then you had the fallout from the IPF, and now they're trying to implement this pro series and figuring out now their nationals coming up. And so they'll probably have regionals on a lower priority on their list, and they're focusing on these other things right now. So potentially it could be something they bring back, but you'd also have to figure out how you're going to implement it. Are you going to implement it again as a easier qualifier for nationals? Are you going to have it where you'll have another event at the Arnold again, like that Battle of the Regions, where people can go from regionals to the Arnold? Or will it be some kind of way to qualify into the pro series, or will it be part of the pro series? So there's a lot of questions up there of what exactly you want to do at regionals, which has always been a question for people who have been around. It's like, well, what's the point of regionals? So if it's not required to go to nationals, then all the top lifters won't go. So it becomes like a second level event. And then they kind of test out things with being an easier qualifier for nationals and having it go into the Arnold. So it depends on what exactly they want to do with the regionals, or if they just want to scrap the idea completely and say, hey, listen, we already have all our national level events, and now we're going to put the pro series events. And in the pro series events, you can also have lifters from the region competing, like at the UB Expos. If you're not part of the pro series, you can still compete at the UBU Expo. You just be in a different part of the event. And then also you have your local level competition. So maybe they just kind of scrap the idea completely, but I have not heard anything one way or the other. And I haven't seen anything as far as them post anything, and there's nothing here. So then the last thing just becomes your local competition. So for local competitions, you can always just, sort by your state and see what you have there. So for example, I'll just pull up here Florida just because that's where I live. And so you can pull up Florida and see all the local competitions here throughout the year, see where they're located, get the information about registration, how many people are entered, those kind of stuff. And they have all the local competitions kind of going like normal right now. So if you're looking to do a local competition, again, there's plenty of events out there for you. If you're trying to do a national competition, there's lots coming down the line in March and in June. If you're trying to do the Pro Series is going to be throughout the year. And then if you're trying to do any international competitions, you have to just wait for more information to come out as far as location and dates for the event in Australia, and then what they're going to be doing as far as Europe, and looking into next year with that North American Championship. So hopefully you like this video. And if you missed out on my video going over the overall powerlifting news, click right here so you can go to that video and see everything that's going on in the world of powerlifting. Catch you guys on the next video.